in management of any sector, or for any sector to give good results, everything rises and falls on governance. And governance is how things are managed. And in this case, we are talking about water and sanitation. When you talk about water services provision, when you talk about water resources management, when you talk about sanitation and hygiene, what are the leadership strategies that people are using? What are leaders saying about water, and what is happening with the users, and what is happening with those that give the funding? So all this is within the realm of governance, so that the services that are produced, or the services that we get, are worth the investment that we are putting in. So as KEWASNET, we have to ensure that there's improved governance so that we have better results within the sector. In Kenya, we are talking of a population of almost half-half, men, half, and female, half, and even the youth. In fact, in our country, we have a very youthful population. We realize that our population is over 60% youthful. So we cannot talk about water services and leave them out. We cannot talk about water service provision and leave the women out, because they form half of the population. And actually, the youth form more than half of the population that we have. So it is very important that these particular groups are involved, right from the design of projects, if they're there, to the implementation, to the monitoring, and even seeing the results that come out. So they are a very important segment of the society, and they should be in there for us to have a complete or a wholesome kind of operations that we want. The workforce within the water sector, 18% they form youth and women, while the other almost over 80% they happen to be men. Now, these are deep issues that we need to be addressing, because why is that so? And to me, I would look at not just the 18%, but I would want to go back and look at what exactly happened, so that we have the youth and women within the wash or water sanitation workspace. The percentage is smaller. So the kind of thing I'm looking at is going back to what really happened, or what happens. And to me, I would start at the training. You know, it is said that train a child in the way that they should go, and when they grow up, they'll follow that route. So if we're able to go back, especially to the training institutions, and encourage the youth and the women to take up courses that will help them to pick up these opportunities. For instance, when you're talking about the water companies, you find that majority of them are men, and then the 18% we're talking about are women. So then, we encourage the youth, the young people, the women, to take up these so-called challenging courses. They're not so challenging because women have equally performed well, so that they are better equipped to take up the many opportunities that exist within the sector. So to me, training is one of those things that we need to do, but also for those of us that are within the sector in leadership position, we need to encourage, we need to see talent and pick it and help them to move towards these opportunities. We need to identify, give space for the young people and for the women to be able to participate actively within the water sector. So these are some of the issues that I think we can do to help youth and women to be within the sector. As a country, I would say, and this I'm basing on the SDG indicators, the Sustainable Development Goals, and also the reports from the WASREP, the regulator. We realize that slightly more than half of our population, around 58%, have access to what we would call safe water. And when it comes to sanitation, the numbers are even lower. Around 26% have access to what we call safe sanitation. So I would say that as a country, we have done some good job, but then what remains ahead of us is even more. What needs to happen is that we need to invest more in water and sanitation for us to realize the SDG goals by 2030. But the challenge has also been that there have been a little bit more investments in the water service provision, but very little or not so much within the sanitation sector and hygiene, and even less when it comes to water resources management. So I think we need to be smart in the way we invest our resources, so that we bring up these subsectors all together, and then we are able to benefit our population. This country, our population is half, almost half the statistics, male, and the other half is female. So if there's a big agenda that we are talking about as water and sanitation, it affects all of us. So it follows that both men and women, the youth, the women and the men, we need to attend so that we can find solutions. We can provide opportunities for all of us to be able to take part in the sector and improve the services that we want in water and sanitation.